episode of Sessions with Mary Jane. I am your 1/3 of a headed monster, Jordan Freed, here with my co-humps.
I'm the second head, Reena Ezra.
And I am also a monster head. I'm Brendan.
And we are here with a very, very fantastic comedian and also an entrepreneur. I don't know how much she'll get into that. Probably a fair amount since this is Sessions with Mary Jane. But regardless, she is hilarious. I've known her a decent amount of years now. And she's amazing. Give it up for Jordan Kleine.
Woo!
All right, thank you guys. That was a great introduction. Entrepreneur, okay.
Yeah. I think you got a lot going on, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I did not foresee this happening, but I think with the pandemic, we all had to adjust a little bit. So here we are.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Jordan. Before, in our conversation, we were talking about the New York comedy scene. You were about to tell us about how the comedy scene has changed and how it's kind of developed during the pandemic. So how has it been for you as a comic?
Oh, I mean, every comic is struggling for sure. Like, there's a group full of comics who still have enough momentum to keep going or started something over the pandemic. That's a new thing. A lot of podcasts taking off. For me, but the live performance, that's what's been crazy. A lot of outdoor shows were going on, rooftop shows, bodegas. But the interesting thing to see was it's like a whole new wave of comics. I don't know anybody.
Yeah, that's kind of the funny thing that I've been noticing for sure is like I see some of these lineups and sometimes it seems like it's lineups of people who weren't doing comedy in 2019. Like it's almost like there's the post-COVID crop of comics that's almost separate from the pre-COVID crop of comics. It's almost like a totally different feel.
Yes.
Well, also, besides comedy, because we know Jordan has another, another interest, and I just want to put out there, if Jordan, if you want to say what her challenge is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sorry, I put you at a disadvantage, Jordan, by not giving you your challenge earlier. You missed out on 10 minutes of challenging. Now, we're only like 5 minutes in. But we see you all over social media. The brand is very strong. And we know that you are a biker extraordinaire. So we were thinking about letting you name electric bike companies. Just in the background, along with this interview and getting high.
Yeah, you can interrupt at any time. But yeah, it's just a fun thing we like to do.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a different challenge. Everybody has scored very various on like the ranking board.
Yes.
Everyone's a winner.
Jordan, also you are our first guest of the new year, so technically you're going to have the best
true.
score of 2022, no matter how many you get. So you just say how many you think of, and then we'll go from there.
Wait, so you want me to name actual electric bike companies?
Yeah,
or
Yes, correct. Not imaginary, not made up. We will use the Google machine, and we'll catch you if you're lying.
This is 100% serious, yeah. This part of it is 100% serious. Everything else could be a little funny, but yeah. We take this very seriously. We have a PA who counts all of the rankings and scores afterwards.
Thank you, PA.
We haven't hired them yet,
you,
but
PA.
we're going to have them.
Thank you, future
Wow,
PA.
you have a full JRE experience over there. You got like a researcher and everything.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so you want me to name like actual brands, and you don't want me to make any up.
No, yeah.
Right?
All
real
ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my bike that I had, that was a Super 73. Those are pretty sick. They have the Monday now. There's so many. It's crazy.
So, could you tell us a little bit about how you got into biking?
I am curious.
We're very curious.
Into bikes?
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in Nebraska, and my dad's a mechanic, so I was always whipping around on something. And New York is it's New York, and I got a bike for like fun, and it's the best.
Are you ever terrified of riding in New York?
I got hit by a car so many times last year.
Oh my god!
Like lightly hit. Okay, except for one time.
Tapped.
But New York hates you for having an electric bike for sure.
Sure, yeah.
Drivers like want to hit you with their car. It's crazy.
It's like a video game.
It's kind of terrifying.
You're like worth points. It's like a video game. You're worth points if they hit you.
Kind of. It's like Mario Kart. I mean,
Okay,
it's
so
cool though, because
Kansas-
you can get around
Nebraska.
so much
sorry,
quicker.
Nebraska. Oh my gosh, thank you for correcting me. Sorry. Okay, so Nebraska, you're like your dad's a mechanic. You, I mean, that's also very geographically different than New York. Can I ask, how did you get to New York, or was there stops in between, or what made you do the move?
Well, I always thought it was gonna end up in LA, is a funny thing. And then I went there and I was like, fuck no. Right? LA is not my vibe at all.
Yeah,
and then I came here for a show and I just it was amazing. I had the best time. But I was working a corporate job, student loans back in Nebraska, the worst job imaginable. And I got fired.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it was great. It was once I started comedy, I just completely fell off with my job. Because I was like, this is it. This is what I do now. So I got fired. And I remember being like, I cannot find another job like this that pays enough, whatever. And my best friend since elementary school was like, you got to go now or never, whatever. So I sold everything and just moved here. Like, no plan or anything, which is not the smart way to go, but...
Yeah, but bold. Good for you. Like, oh my gosh,
Thanks.
A lot of people don't have the guts to do that.
Yeah, I was also 22 or 23, so I wasn't using logic for sure. If it was now, I wouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah.
But you still would have made but you still are happy that you're in New York. Like, this is the place you've wanted to be.
Oh, definitely. And being from Nebraska, I was so easily impressed by New York. Like, day one, I was like, you can get a cigarette by itself. Cigarettes, you can get pizza for $1 almost anywhere. I'm gonna be fine,
Yeah.
Did you have other family that also came from Nebraska, or just you?
All of my family is from Nebraska. We have some that live in Wyoming now and Colorado.
But nobody else in New York.
Oh, in New York. I do have an older cousin out there somewhere. He's gay too. Yeah.
How was your experience with that as far as social setting in Nebraska versus New York?
Oh my God. I had to learn to drink. When you're from a suburban place and you come out here with that bar mentality too, I was like, oh, people don't drink like that here. You know what I mean? People don't aim to black out. That's something I definitely had to adjust to.
Interesting. Yeah. What tips would you give me so that I could better prepare to if I told you I was moving to Nebraska, what tips do you have for me?
That's all you get. You get an oof.
Don't. Literally don't. If you had to, I would say get a Carhartt to start. I don't know. It's it's funny because I meet New Yorkers and they're fascinated that I'm from Nebraska. I'm fascinated of their being from New York. And it just depends what you want to do.
Yeah.
But Nebraska, there's opportunity for certain things, just not me.
Yeah.
What is the money-making thing in Nebraska? Where does everybody, is that just... I'm trying to think of the field.
Well, they come from farmers, probably, right?
Name.
Most people in Nebraska, or no?
Yeah, I have a farmer family background. My cousin's still a farmer. His dad's a farmer. My grandpa.
Oh, wow, okay. So, yeah, nothing industrial there. Gotcha.
Yeah.
In New York means.
Yeah. Did you start doing stand-up out there, Jordan, or did you do stand-up when you moved to New York?
I did start stand-up out there, and it is Lincoln and Omaha is actually a great comedy scene circuit. You can get some stage time for sure. I was doing feature spots in the first month, which was so uncomfortable, but there's no one else. You know what I mean? There's 10 of you, so you get good stage time.
What are the
A lot of
biggest
weird rooms.
What are the biggest differences between the things that New Yorkers find funny versus the things that Nebraskans find funny?
I definitely had to water myself down in Nebraska. Like, I had to do like easy humor, you know? Because if you're like gay on stage, if you're anything but like a straight white dude that doesn't get too political, you really gotta see what your crowd is like, you know? I mean, I've even had friends that are straight white guys, and they've still been. One of my good friends, James Lindsay, back in Nebraska, we did a show at like a rodeo bar, and they were. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was like a town of like 1,000 or something, and we walk in. The energy's just weird. And James is a straight guy, but he's ex-army, but kind of like a hippie stoner now.
Yeah.
And he has like the shaggy hair, and he was telling jokes about being overseas, and some lady just like started heckling him like, "You don't have a military haircut." Like, didn't believe him, and it turned into like, no, this guy wasn't in the military. Just is so strange, you know?
Yeah.
That sounds like it would be an episode of Baskets.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Jordan, how do you adapt to doing stand up in different kinds of rooms, especially like unconventional rooms? Like you mentioned before that like people are doing shows in bodegas and outside. So like how do you kind of like size up your environment before you do a show?
I think I've learned over time it's really important to not just get there right before your spot. It's also respectful to watch the comics before you, but to also see what they talked about, how the crowd reacted. You know, a lot of times you go up sometimes after a comic that you're kind of similar. Do you ever notice that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but they kind of like group you together sometimes. So you have to be like, oh, he just talked about that, so I can't really open with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't be a scumbag because I do all my shows in New Jersey, and most of the comics take that over.
I love Jersey shows. They're fair. I will say that.
No, the crowds are great when they're there. It's just it's a lot of vulgar stuff getting thrown around. It's not like a Brooklyn show.
Well, Brooklyn. It's interesting you say that because when I first moved here, I lived in Bushwick, and that's supposed to be the like accepting of gay. You can be, you know, liberal more on stage, and it kind of felt more classist sometimes. Than because I'm like I'm gay as fuck, like, and I felt more judgment because of like how I dress and stuff like that. I live in Harlem now, and I love the uptown shows a lot more, at least for me. I can kind of be more myself a little bit. I don't know what your experience has been or what, but everyone has their own hive, you know.
Yeah, for sure,
I think it looks like there's a lot going on in Harlem for sure. Are there any shows that are specifically cool ones that you've gotten on a lot?
I mean, the shows and stuff are kind of starting over, it feels like.
Yeah, we
like,
are
there's
kind of
no
at the beginning.
set shows anymore. Yeah. I mean, there's a bar near me called Harlem Nights, and they do comedy there. That's a great room. That's one of my favorites. Trying to think. There's a lot of people producing different things, but it's a lot of pop-ups now. Kind of feels like. Yeah. It's interesting.
We kind of live in a pop-up world now.
I mean, honestly, yeah, it's a lot of like, have you been to a Don't Tell comedy thing?
I have not. I've seen some of the stuff though.
Is it like a speakeasy?
Kind of. It's like you buy the tickets, and then the day of, they like email you the location.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fun.
Isn't it so interesting how like something like that, like kind of like with that, and also with speakeasies, it's like a part of the appeal is like the mystery of it, and like the like I guess almost like the exclusivity of it, I guess, because it does feel good to do something sometimes that like you're invited to specifically.
Yeah, it feels, because I think before too, there's a comedy show every night, so you can just go whenever. But when it's like sneaky and planned, people kind of get into it. Yeah, I think that's been good for comedy to mix it up a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, because I feel like the scene's been stale for quite a while. I
Yeah,
feel like
it really
things are
has.
just, I don't know, it's already a business. Like it's just like very clicky, or things will have certain pockets. We were talking about like New York City pockets with Ash Diggs. We had him on last episode. And yeah, I feel like it is nice to spice it up, because I also like with it being a business, I just mean in terms of like it just feels corporate sometimes, where it's just like, oh no, but you get like things were not experimental for a while. Like everybody was just doing the same shit. But like hopefully from the burst out of the pandemic bubble, there is more experimentation.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like some before the pandemic, but I don't know. Like with pop-ups, I also think it is just a major trend. If I'm learning from work with like a bunch of these other brands, like, you know, um like food pop-ups and health and wellness brands, or like clothing stores are now just doing pop-ups instead of like, also because I don't know if they could afford their lease if you don't even know this stuff's not stable during the pandemic, so like it's a financial thing too.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was, I was just pointing that out. I just thought that was very interesting that you said pop-ups specifically.
Yeah.
Has your business been featured at any pop-ups? Have you done any pop-ups?
Well, let me think. Yeah, actually, I've been posting up at some comedy shows, which has been really cool because I give the host like a percentage, so comics get paid. I'm working on a bunch of things behind the scenes right now. It's getting pretty busy, the business, because it's just me pretty much.
Wait, what's the business name?
High Standards.
Yeah, definitely plug it as much as you want to plug it.
Yeah, wait, where can we find info on that?
Cool. High Standards. It's on Twitter. It's gourmet edibles. Wait, let me check what the actual tag is.
Ooh, I'm hooked already. That sounds yummy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What do you make? What do you make? Wait, yeah. What are you experimenting with? What are you making? What is your go-to? What's popular?
Well, that's a background of the business. Is it started in the pandemic. Me and my roommates were like, it was like month 3. No one was smoking because of COVID. No one wanted to smoke. So I was like, I'm gonna try to make some pot brownies. Never made them before. And then people were like, "Can I buy some?" Because it turned into a weekly thing because we had like nothing to do. So I'm actually a cook first, but then people were asking for pot, so I was like, "Okay, I'll get some pot." Yeah. And now I sell pot a
lot. What is your advice to someone who has never tried making edibles before and wants to try making something like a brownie for the first time?
That's a good question. You don't have to. Everyone makes it so complicated. It doesn't have to be like if you get an eighth, get like an eighth and like a stick of butter, and put it on the stove with like what's it called, a double boiler. If you don't have that, use like a glass bowl because you don't want to burn it, right? And just boil it really slow. The longer the better, but keep stirring it and then strain it. If you just want to make something super simple, I had a roommate who straight up threw the flour in the brownie mix. But you have to extract the cannabinoids, so you have to like cook it, but not too long. And you have to decarb it first as well.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a science to it.
Yeah, there really is. I've learned to make all kinds of stuff, and it's really interesting to learn about.
You said cook first. What is your experience in cooking, and how come you've never baked before, or baked pot brownies before?
I don't know. I guess I always just bought edibles. I've always been more of a smoker, but my cooking background is just my grandma's. Straight up, I lived with my grandma. She was like, "If you're gonna live with me, you're gonna learn how to cook."
Nice.
I used to be an awful cook, so.
Yeah. What's your favorite dish that your grandma makes?
She does make this like chicken spaghetti. I'm from the Midwest, so it's like a casserole type thing, but it's really good. She makes she's an old fashioned gal, you know, like meatloaf, potatoes type of stuff. Yeah.
Hey, they're classics.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What is your first edible story? Could you share that with us?
Like taking one?
Yes.
Or
your first time taking an edible? I should have clarified.
I don't remember the first one, but when I first was starting out, I had to really find the milligrams and middle level, and I got some days so high I just had to quit that day. I was on a Rebel scooter once, and I forgot I took an edible an hour before that, and all of a sudden it was oh shit, and I had to pull over and just hang out for a couple hours. It was a brick wall coming down.
Wow.
Yeah, edibles can get dangerous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I try not to make them too strong for that reason.
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely had experiences where I have been a little too good at dosing my brownies, so to speak.
Yeah.
What was the highest milligram that you made?
I did not. I don't calculate it. I legit just use I use an eighth or a quarter or whatever the weed is. Yeah, that I have at the time. No, it's very reckless. Yeah, my friends are very trusting of.
Yeah,
my
we
weed
shouldn't be
brownies.
eating it at a music festival, and then all of a sudden it hits you when Billie Eilish is on. Little.
Wow, that's very specific.
Yeah, just a random example.
Wait, so you guys took edibles and went to Billie Eilish?
So Jordan and I were at Firefly Music Festival in Dover, Delaware, this past summer actually, and then
that was the first night.
That was the first night of the festival. We took his pop brownies, and I thought it was a reasonable size. I do not eat a lot of it. I keep my
half pieces.
I keep my portions small. It was a half piece, and I should have taken a half of a half piece. It's not. We're talking about one small square. And yeah, you're just walking around, and then all of a sudden you're not sure how your legs feel like noodles, and you're am I walking? I remember asking Jordan, I'm like, am I walking properly?
No, that's the thing, because it's when you smoke weed, it's even when you get really high, I feel it doesn't really it can physically impair you in the sense that you don't want to get up, but eating an edible, it can definitely have some very strong physical effects on everything you do.
Yeah, well, everything is also just moving rapidly, time since everything was just overstimulated. Of course, there's a lot of people, and then once you hear the music, you're like, the vibrations in my body. But I had to sit with my friend at a park bench, and we just sat there the rest of the time and just didn't watch Billie Eilish. Yeah. She was in the background. She was far where the stage was, but we're just no, we can't move. We're telling you guys right now, we literally can't move, and we need to just stay here, and that's what the plan is now.
It was meant to happen though, because when we sat down, everybody was basically passed out at this picnic table, and then these two girls who were on acid came up to me, and they were just yeah, we just got here, we're tripping acid tonight, girls' weekend, and I'm fuck, I need to trip, and then I tripped the next 3 days, and it was magical. Very good.
Yeah. Are there any other drugs for you, Jordan, besides marijuana that you have partaken in, or you have any interest in partaking in?
I love acid. I love doing acid. But I'm not the type to do it at a concert for sure. Only because external factors freak me out a little bit.
Yes,
I had a really bad shroom trip here a couple years ago, and ever since then I'm let me make sure I know what I'm doing.
Yes, yes, can relate to that. Yeah.
What do you like to do on acid?
Last time I just watched anime and space movies on my projector, and it was the best.
How are you able to use technology and look at screens? I mean, we said projector, so it's not necessarily a phone screen, but how are you able to do that on acid? I can't do anything with technology. I'm literally incapable. Something happens to me when I'm on acid, and I can't. It just doesn't work. I can't. It does not compute. Do you have a trick?
I don't know. There is a difference though between a TV and a projector, because I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
A TV is different. True. But on a projector, it's a big screen, and if you already know what you're watching, it's different.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because I have watched. I was watching Rick and Morty on acid once on a TV, and I got kind of tripped out.
Yo,
No.
yeah. Oh
I
my.
watched like the worst thing I could watch, probably on acid. I
Yeah.
don't like to like freak myself out. Some people do.
Yeah, the canon of just multiple dimensions and thinking that we don't really exist.
Yeah. Rick and Morty is like the show for people who don't trip, who want to know what it's like to trip. So if you're already tripping, it's like a double trip, basically.
Intense.
Yeah, and I'd never like watched it before, but I was like hype about, and I was like, oh my god, this is not. I should watch like Tom and Jerry if I'm gonna watch a cartoon right now.
Yeah.
Have you guys done like DMT or anything?
No.
No, have you?
My old roommate bought some. And I was like, dude, I think this is like crushed up Adderall. This was a couple of years ago. We both tried it, nothing happened, but I've heard some stories from friends who have, and it sounds terrifying and great, depending.
Wait, so nothing happened at all? What do you actually think it really was DMT, or do you think it end up just being Adderall?
I don't know. My roommate, like, he was kind of the guy who would like buy it from like anybody. So it's like I don't know how I feel about this because DMT, it's like acid. Like it could go any way. But
what is the difference between acid and DMT?
I think DMT it's more of like a powder, and it lasts I think 10 minutes.
Oh, it's short. It's
the death molecule
much shorter.
also.
So
it's
what
like
is
what
it?
gets released when you die?
So,
what happened?
It's like the molecule that gets released when you die, I think. Yeah.
So that's you're at an
By your
extremely
brain.
very elevated state. Wow.
Yeah.
Jordan, how would you say that that drugs, whether it's like weed or acid, whatever it is, like contributes to the way that you like think as a creator and also just like create things in general?
I mean, it's crazy. I'm not that big of a pothead.
Mm-hmm.
I used to smoke a lot more. Now it's just kind of like all the time. So I kind of like to enjoy it more like at night.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's my dog in the background.
What's your dog's name?
Theodore.
Hi, Theodore. Welcome to the podcast.
That is such a great dog name. Theodore.
He's the best. He's like an old man, just really chill.
Do you ever feel like you wanted to like just dress him up and like put a little pipe in his mouth and like have him sit at a table playing cards with people, or no?
He actually has that personality. I got him for Christmas. I got him this like onesie with candy canes on it, and it was so cute.
Oh my god! Wait, do you dress him up often? Does he like it?
He loves it. He's like a gay dog.
Oh, that's so cute.
Well, they do take
like
after their owners, right?
That's true.
Yeah, he's like a diva. He's a chow chow. So he's like, he loves attention. He loves to be groomed. He loves like, I change his accessories often. Like he has like different collars and stuff, and he loves to like change it.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
how do you know? How do you know he likes it? What are the signs?
He gives a thumbs up.
He's just excited by when you like. How did you figure out like, oh, you like this? Like what is the communication?
I mean, one day I bought him like a bow tie collar, and I put it on him, and he just started like wagging his tail and was like happy the rest of the day.
Oh my god! I don't have a dog, so I was just curious.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they're. Wait, how long have you had him?
I got him, I want to say 3 years ago from a shelter, and I had never seen a chow chow before, and I didn't know they were known to be aggressive because he's so sweet, but they found him as a stray in Queens, so they think he was like a breeder's dog, and when they're older, they just let them go. But he's like a $3,000 dog.
Wow.
That I got for $8 at a
Wow.
Yeah,
No, these dogs
What a
are
bargain.
Look at this. I'm just looking at pictures. Look at this.
Yeah.
Hey, oh my gosh, so fluffy.
Would you say that is your relationship with Theodore? Are you guys like? Is it like a friend? Are you guys siblings? Is it like a parent child? Like, how would you describe it in human terms?
He's like my wingman. He kind of like, it's funny because they say your dog turns more into you and it's kind of true. Like they say, you kind of start to look like your dog.
Yeah.
He sometimes does some stuff, and I'm like, okay. Like, yeah, like actually the other day we were walking, and these two like really pretty girls walk by, and they're like, oh, cute dog, whatever. And he just like stops, whips his head around, and starts following them like full speed. I'm like, hey man, you can't.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
He loves girls. He likes female attention, and he likes the gays. But he's picky about who he likes sometimes too. He's a diva for sure.
He has a nose for the gays.
Yeah. This might be TMI actually, but I had this old roommate who was gay, and he was like especially nice to him and got a little happy. And that's the only time I've ever seen that happen was around my roommate who's gay. I was like,
yeah, yo,
I don't know, man.
Like dogs are very affectionate in many kinds of ways to human beings, you know, and it is very interesting because I feel like even for them it probably it feels weird, but then all of a sudden there are dogs that hump human legs all the time. That's a very common occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see who he decides to like, for sure. But yeah, you give him attention and he'll like you forever, basically.
Yeah.
Same, you know.
Yeah.
I think we're all that way.
Yeah. Listen, attention feels good, right? It feels good to have attention on you, so... Yeah.
So, curious, what do you have... Like, what are you working on now? Like, as far as how much you're able to do stand-up comedy throughout this very abnormal world we're living in right now. And what do you have in store for future?
Well, with comedy, I'm just seeing where I think everyone's just kind of taking it easy and letting it happen again, right? Because I think before we were also like crazy.
Yes,
when you think about comedy in New York, we were doing, open mics, shows, showing face at spots from like 5 p.m. to like 1 a.m., not getting paid, not getting a rest, drinking a lot, at least me. So I've been hanging out and just taking time for myself for that. I'm definitely working on producing a infused show with another comic. Yeah, so having like
nice.
like a dinner and like, yeah. So I want to do that. I'm working on can you hear him in the background?
Yeah, it's not bad.
No.
Oh, okay.
Bring him closer.
Yeah, we have questions for Theodore.
He will turn his head. He is not happy with me right now. Actually, it's when my apartment isn't clean, he starts crying. Like, it's crazy.
That's Reena's kind of dog.
That's like me.
Yeah.
That's what I do living with these two guys. Oh my god.
That's so funny. Yeah, he'll literally like turn his head and start like whimpering, and I'm like, let me walk in the door, man. Anyways, your question. What else? Oh, so something else I've been working on for a while is a topical line, alternative pain topical line of balms, pain relief balms.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, different things just to alternative medicine. I'm really not with like opioids and things like that. So that's something I'm working on the side. Jordan, when we meet, eventually I can show you this too. I wish I could show you guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm going to do some other things. I got a lot going on, but yeah.
What are your other new passions you picked up without stand-up taking up so much of your damn time?
Great. I've been trying to do more artistic things like paint, draw. I've been decorating my apartment. Just anything else that's our artistic outlet. You know? I think it helps.
Yeah.
Have you guys been like writing bits or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, just making videos on our Instagram, writing more. We were finishing up a short film, almost done editing that, and then just working on the next short film. And we do sketches. Yeah, what else?
Sad poetry about the world.
They do a different morning show comedic podcast. We have different podcasts going on. So yeah, same thing. Like trying to keep busy creatively doing things that are, you know, just don't use live production, because unfortunately we would like to be doing shows, but you just do everything in-house that's, you know, virtual with video content or audio content. Yeah.
Jordan, what's your relationship to writing? How do you and writing get along?
I wish I was one of those comics who was more like serious and structured about it, but it just like comes and goes for me in waves.
Yeah.
I definitely need to start writing more again like I used to, but I think that with everything that's going on, my life has changed somewhat with everyone else's too. So I'm like, I have to talk about new things. I have to scrap everything I was talking about before,
for sure.
which is exciting and scary at the same time. But yeah. Which you're asking my process?
Yeah, like especially it's even for like jokes too. It's like how like what is the process? Yeah, like from like the idea phase for you to like the completion of something.
If I have an idea, I use like Evernote, for example,
Cool.
and I'll just like kind of jot it down. What's cool about Evernote is you can find keywords. So if you wrote about something in like 2009 and you look it up and you're writing about it again, you can kind of tie the joke together. I've done that. But I mostly just write down any ideas and circle back to it.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. That new little app. I am just circling back to see if there's anything you want to add on your list of electric bike brands.
Oh. What is that new one? Oh my god, it's crazy. It's called Onyx. Onyx. It's like a motorcycle.
Whoa.
Basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
That stuff they make is like super advanced now. Everything obviously is going to like shifting to electric. Yeah. But I'm just imagining Theodore on his own little electric scooter while you're on your own little like I wish we could make like a movie of like you and Theodore.
Like a little sidecar.
I wish you could have a sidecar. I mean, he loves car rides. If I had a car, he would totally come with me to do deliveries every day.
Yeah.
I actually before this I used to do bar security at a gay bar. And he would come with me to all my shifts, and he would just like lay on the dance floor.
Oh my god, no way!
Wait, what was that job like?
What?
It was interesting. I worked. I somehow got involved in working with drag queens for the past like 4 or 5 years. Sweet. So I was working at a lot of gay bars. Comedians have egos. Drag queens are worse, for sure. But it was fun.
Was there anything like chaotic? Like, did you have any nights where, because those shows can be, I mean, I don't know specifically where or what the place is called, but those shows can be packed, or like the energy of having to manage those audience members.
When I worked at a more popular bar where like Monet Exchange performed and like Bob the Drag Queen, like huge names. That place would get packed, but I was a barback, so I didn't have to deal with the crowd. In Brooklyn, I worked security, and I worked at straight and gay bars, and straight bars is like they fight, right? Gay bars, they're like mean to each other. I'm like, stop calling each other names, okay? We're all gay, like, separate.
So verbal. It's verbal as opposed to physical, you're saying?
Definitely. I mean, I saw there was some gays that started fighting once, and it was literally, like, pulling hair, slapping. Like, I didn't even stop it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's still a fight.
Yeah, it was just like, you guys are, like, calling an Uber together. Like, you're leaving together. So... But yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. What other odd jobs have you had?
Oh my god. During the pandemic, for a week, I worked at a Jewish cash advance place. That was interesting. It was like old money.
Oh.
But it was like this like young, he was such a prick. Like, he thought he was like Wolf on Wall Street, but he just had like daddy's money, right? This guy had like an entire layout of like booze, like high end booze, and whenever he would like make a deal, he would just like start pouring everyone drinks. And yeah, it didn't last long because me and the guy next to me were like blacking out by 1 p.m.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I always wondered that about Mad Men. Like, how are they not just black out every single day and just on autopilot?
Well, that's like Mad Men, but this was like not that at all. So that's why it was interesting. I'm like, the turnover rate here is crazy, but like we're all wasted right now.
Oh my gosh!
That was an interesting job. Let's see.
That sounds.
I mean, yeah. That was my last one, I guess I will say.
How do you like the extreme amount of bars per capita in New York City?
Bars per capita?
Yeah. Well, you said
Yeah.
you came from a small town where drinking was the crazy culture, and then now you come to a place where there's just so many bars everywhere.
I think after just drinking so much and then working in bars, I just kind of hate them now.
Mhm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Comedy
it's
and
kind of
bar
the same
culture
thing.
has definitely worn on me for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet. Cause there it's like a smaller scene, so you probably run into people all the time and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and I think just like being at bars way too long and just like being around people who repeat their stories and stuff like that, and just like the ego trips that people go on when they're drunk and stuff like that. Yeah, but alcohol
No,
is
it's,
good in
it's
small
crazy.
amounts.
You what?
I said alcohol is good in small amounts, I guess.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like I used to like you can't do it every night, right?
I can't.
So
Some people do.
I'll go out once in a while, but even then, I'm like, damn! Because in New York, you're like, I just spent $110 last night.
Yo,
On
that's
what?
real.
Uber?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, no, that's real. Like it's insane. Cause then like it's like nice to go to a place where you're like, oh, I want to drink because I want to drink. But when you go there and you're just like, oh, like $15 for like one single beverage, and then it just goes up from there. It's just crazy how high the prices are.
That's why I go and drink out in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, for the deals.
Yeah.
That's what. And I mean, in Nebraska, you can black out on like $10. It's insane. Like we used to go to this bar. It was actually it was a cool spot. It was like this bar nobody went to really, and they had like what was it on Sundays? It was like buy one get one. I mean, you'd never hear about that. Do they have that out there? Like buy one get one.
They had that when I was in New Orleans. They had 3-for-1s and shit like that.
3 for 1? No, we don't have that here on the East Coast.
They're asking for trouble.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, we have the buy one, buy two, buy three, and go home.
It was
wow.
Yeah, very.
That's insane. But I mean, when I lived in Lincoln, which was like a college town, they had this place called the Tavern on Sundays. It was like heads or tails with the bartender. If you guess, you got all your drinks free.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
And we had this friend who was just
That's
like
fun.
got it every time. we'd order like 15 drinks. We're so shitty. We'd be like, James, go, and we'd get it every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lucky charm right there.
Yeah, he was pretty good at that.
Yeah. Do you believe in luck, Jordan?
I mean, not really. I don't know. Kind of.
Yeah.
I believe in karma, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, do you believe in luck? Like, what's your theory?
I believe in luck when it's good luck, and I feel like I believe in luck when I remember to believe in luck. But most of the time, I don't think about luck too much at all.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm trying to follow
that. Like an
train
Irish
of thought.
limerick.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He said, "Fuck luck. It's not real.
Yeah. No, but karma doesn't make sense because karma feels like it's a little more physicalized than luck. Luck feels it's kind of like it's a floating thing, but karma feels like when it happens and like when things come around, it feels like it actually is real.
You remember that was it Lindsay Lohan movie where she was like always lucky until she got her luck taken away and then she always had bad luck. You've never seen this movie?
I've never seen this movie.
Oh my god, no, I know exactly.
And now I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Wait, do you believe that you have free will or everything's predetermined? If we're getting real deep.
Oh, I'm 110,000% free will. Like, I think that's actually why I work for myself, because I cannot listen to anybody. I get like offended when like someone tells me what to do. I don't know.
Or were you
that's
already?
what comedians are too.
But were you already predetermined to do what you're already doing?
I guess it depends.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. If I'm doing something and someone's like, do this, I'm gonna be like, no. Probably. But it depends, I guess.
The movie is called Just My Luck, by the way. If anyone was curious at home, whoever's listening, it was in 2006. It's a rom-com. It was with Chris Pine. And yeah, that's all I can say. Go watch it.
Hey, go watch Just Luck.
It's on Hulu.
Lindsay Lohan.
Gotta love Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, she had a run there. She had a run like for a little while where she was big, and then she's still around, so she's not totally gone. The Lohan Assance will come back soon.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know what she's doing now.
Yeah,
I feel like she was trying to get into projects, but then it was just it's not good. Why do you have Jordan? Do you have like a like a fave celebrity? Doesn't have to be like actor, whatever. Just celebrity. You have one that you're like obsessed with.
Like as in like their work or like attractive.
Let's get your celeb crush and your celeb role model or like comedic role model.
Oh, comedian specifically.
Well, or whatever role model.
Okay.
Yeah. Your idol and your crush. Yeah.
Okay. Damn, that's hard.
We'll
okay,
just
crush?
You're gonna sit here in silence until you can think of an answer. I'm just kidding.
I know. I'm like, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, you go then. You go first, Jordan. You asked her such a hard question.
Oh no, we don't even have to do this question. We could just move on. We don't have to celeb.
These are good questions.
We don't have to celeb fuck.
No, I need to know.
Let's fuck normal people.
You can crush on someone and not fuck them.
I also realize when I say Jordan and I'm like looking at like Jordan Freed, but then people listening may not know that if I wasn't talking about Jordan Kleine, like I could see now how that's confusing.
Yeah, honestly, for listeners out there, that's the game today. You know, we're lucky that we're joined by Jordan actually remotely, so we're also playing the game a little bit too. So you never know which Jordan is either answering or being referenced to. So, so you can decide for yourselves all.
Wait, but also another question: after you do your celebrity idol and your celebrity crush, how did it feel meeting another Jordan? Because I think only once I've met another Reena, but it's very rare. But like, how do you feel when you meet a Jordan?
I'm gonna ask other Jordan this. Every time I meet a Jordan, I'm always like, you're kind of weird. Like, why is every Jordan like good people but weird? And I'm talking about myself too. There's always like a weird energy with Jordans. I don't know. How do you spell yours? A-N?
Yeah,
it's the same way. Yeah.
It definitely became a trendy name too. Like definitely in the 90s and 80s. So I think there is like an aspect of being part of a trend, and like your parents thinking they're onto something, and then you're like, oh, there's another Jordan. Oh, there's another Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of Jordans.
Yeah.
But also Jordan's cool because, not to put it in a box, in a social construct, but like it's used for any gender. The name Jordan.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm so glad my name is not Michelle or something. You know.
Yeah, you would know. You definitely don't feel like Michelle energy.
Yeah.
No, that would not. I would not roll with that for sure. I mean, I'm also glad my parents didn't spell it weird, because Jordan started to be spelled like DEN. That would drive me crazy.
Or with
Or
a Y.
Y. Yeah, YN.
Jordan.
Jordan.
Jordan. Or, yeah, people...
That's a certain tax bracket, though, I think. Yeah.
The Y?
Yeah.
You pay more in taxes if you have the YN.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It is interesting how many times, like, when you meet someone and you hear their name and, like, the name just makes sense. You're like, that name fits you. And I wonder how much of it is, like, does, like, the name, like influence the personality of the person or vice versa?
That's what I was kind of thinking, because, like, other Jordans I meet, I'm like, you're kind of weird and, like, whatever, and, like, so am I. But it's like, most girls I meet named Brittany. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, most
Yo,
Britneys
that's
are weird,
true.
but Brittany's and Ashley's, dude. I don't know. No.
Yeah.
I
Shout out
just
to all the
dated
Britneys and
girls.
Ashleys out there. We see you, we hear you, we know you.
Also, Ashley can be spelled different ways, and so can Brittany. So it
Mhm.
all
Yeah,
depends.
true. I like your
No, I can't.
description of Jordans though, that summary. I think that's very accurate.
Yeah.
They're nice, they're good people, but they're weird. They're a little weird.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great.
It's true. Did you guys do you remember the Urban Dictionary trend came back this year?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Did you look yours up?
No.
Wait, what was yours?
Well, I looked up Jordan, and it was kind of like, yeah, you guys are weird. And I was like, okay, well.
I looked at it, but I don't.
I definitely relate
Remember?
to Aries stuff, and I relate to Jordan stuff, and I relate to Jew stuff, I guess.
Jew stuff.
Did you say Aries stuff?
Yeah, no, any like meme on the internet that has like something about Aries, like I'm like, God damn it, how'd you know this about me?
I hate astrology now. It's just like you can't even tell anybody what you are anymore, and they're like, "You're such a Gemini. You're such an Aries."
So
Do you guys like believe in that? Or like, what's your stance with astrology?
I didn't want to believe it, but then I dated 3 women born between
that's weird.
the days of May 5th and May 12th.
Damn.
And then I was
Yeah.
like, that feels like it is star
There's
shit.
a pattern. There's a pattern.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, my birthday's May 9th. In the middle. Yeah, I don't though. I'm a Taurus. I don't really follow the astrology stuff or link stuff that happens in my life or whatever, like necessarily a connection to it. I just like that my birthstones and emeralds. That's all I pay attention to.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I feel the same way about signs as I do about luck. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that,
Oh my
rewind the
God.
podcast and go listen to that section all over again.
Jeez.
Yeah. But I'm a Virgo, so yeah, that's a very Virgo quality to have. Is to
That's
be-
so funny.
Yeah. So,
I was about to be like, I already know Jordan doesn't give a fuck about astrology.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know
before you
shit.
said you were a Virgo, I was like, I feel like, it's kind of gotten annoying for sure. I thought it was fun, but now sometimes people take it to a point, like in Brooklyn, if you're at a bar and they're just like, what's your sign? What's your rising? What's your Venus? And you're like, ask me like anything else. I don't know. I feel like you're judging me a little bit.
Yeah,
They are-
that's
they
the
really-
one thing I didn't control in my life.
Yeah, what is I don't
Yeah.
I don't know what half that stuff means though. Your rising and your moon.
Yo. So I work in a restaurant, and I was working a shift the other day, and there was this table. These like 2 girls, they're probably like 17, 18, and they were like there having dinner, and then like this table of like women in like their like 40s or 50s came in, and one of them, it was one of their birthdays, and it was one of the other person who was like they were way drunker than anyone else in the group, and then the drunkest woman proceeded to give like a reading of these 2 girls in the middle of the restaurant, and like I know where she's at. She's like, "Can I read you guys?" And everyone just like looked at her and was very confused. And then she like proceeded to like tell them they're going to meet a person named Daniel in the future. So shout out to Daniel's also out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So people listen. People.
Wait, was she reading palms or was she just reading their aura?
She was reading their energy. She's like, "Can I just read your energy?"
She got Dan from their energy.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Yes. That yeah.
From that
And it's so funny because like when you see people, whether it's like a medium or like people who just do things like that, and like they get it right, you see people are like, okay, like it might not be real, but that was pretty impressive. And they get it wrong, you can just feel everyone feel bad because the person is just like struggling. They're like, it's a Daniel, and then they're like, no, we don't know anyone named Daniel. They're like, maybe Danielle. They're like, no, Danielle. maybe you will meet someone named Danielle. It's like, yeah, if you grasp enough straws, you're bound to grab one eventually.
Then they'll be like, "What? It starts with the letter D, I think."
yeah, there is a letter.
No, that's funny. Every time I'm like, I was at the skate bar not too long ago, and there's like a tarot reader there, and I'm like wasted. I'm like, read my palms. You know what I mean? It's like fun, but like, I don't like take it to heart.
Right.
You know? I don't know. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Having a couple drinks and being like, I can read energy. Come here.
Oh, yo. That's the thing is alcohol will give you stupid confidence in things.
It really does.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Brendan, how many does Jordan have on her list thus far?
So we have 3 on the list so far. Jordan, are there any other brands of bikes that you would like to add onto the list before we wrap things up, or whatever? Because you choose when this podcast is over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, okay, electric bike. Super
Theodore
73,
chooses.
Yes.
right?
Theodore chooses when this podcast is over. Sorry. I keep
Oh my, no, he's kind of being passive aggressive and just like walking up and down like past me and looking up like, when are you done with your little podcast? I'm like, you can chill.
Talk to him. He's like doing the.
He's such a queen. I can't even begin to tell
I
you.
love
Like,
this so much. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. It's my fault. I like spoil him. But okay. Let me think. Super 73, Onyx, Monday, Zoom. It's called a Zoom bike. What other ones? I've seen so many around.
What?
I've seen so many around. I've met a lot of people too.
Are there rivalries, or is it a fraternity?
What's funny is when there's like there's so many different electric bike groups in New York that you would be like, I have no idea. I was part of like I joined like a lesbian ride a couple times. That versus the straight dudes, totally different, because the straight guys who like ride the electric bikes in groups are like old middle-aged dudes.
Yeah.
Who are like I'm sorry, but like a lot of them are like incel a little bit. And we're like afraid to get like an actual motorcycle. So riding with them with it really, I mean, and there's multiple groups, but like this specific group I went out with, it was just like so toxic masculinity that I was like, you guys know these are like bicycles, right?
Oh
like,
my gosh.
You got a whole rig over here. But the lesbian was fun because we went, we like rode to Coney Island and like, someone cried, you know, we like talked and all this stuff. So it was like 2 different experiences. Yeah.
Oh my
The lesbian bike group is different.
That's so funny. That's so great. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Wait, what's your favorite kind of bike, Jordan? Either like one that you've had or one that you like would like to have in the future.
I kind of want to step it up from an electric bike to an electric motorcycle or moped.
What's the difference?
The only issue I had a Super 73. It's great, but it runs on bicycle pads, right? Instead of like motorcycle pads. So you burn through those a lot quicker. Also, you have to charge your bike battery a lot more. But if you meet like guys in the city who do like Uber Eats deliveries or anything on mopeds, they'll have different batteries and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Need to get something that I don't have to charge for 4 hours all of a sudden, you know?
Well, good luck in the search to find that bike.
It'll be after winter, so.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, are you comfortable with a final 4 on your list, or?
I'm trying to think of another one.
I mean, you're a winner either way. This is a new record.
Wait, I did name 4. I said
What was that?
Onyx, Zoom, Super 73, and Monday, right?
Monday, yep.
There's so many, and that's all I can think of right now.
You know what, Jordan? Congratulations, you are a winner. Every time you got one, you set a new record for this year. So
4 is a solid
number, and it's more than any of us could have gotten. So
yeah,
Jordan,
that's for sure.
Jordan, thank you so much for being on Sessions with Mary Jane. Please plug away anything that you coming up, or anywhere that people can find you, and all the things about you on the electric world and non-electric world.
Oh, definitely. Let me find. I can't even remember all my tags. My Instagram's been deleted 100 times, but finally this one's stuck. It is highstandards_NYC. It's private, but just follow me on there for a menu and updates. And then I have Twitter, which is where it's more popular, and that's gourmet_edibles. And that one's public, so you could pull that up whenever, and I can send you a link with videos, everything like that.
Sweet.
Events, be there too.
Could you actually talk a little bit to how the social media is like police weed and how that's been a hurdle? Has that been a hurdle for you?
Hold on, my phone is actually about to die.
Oh, no worries.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
No, I was just saying, have there been hurdles just like with your business and just like weed and the social media? Just because, like, I had a lot of issues with, like, live streaming from NJ Weekend's joint.
Yeah, it's been interesting because it's, like, the cannabis industry is mixed of, like, OGs who've been doing it, and then, like, now it's becoming more corporate a little bit. I'm somewhere in the middle, but we're actually in a weed-demic right now. I don't know if you guys knew that.
No.
Because with the genetics changing of, I mean, weed's gotten crazy, right?
Yeah.
It used to be like way cheaper. Now there's all this exotic stuff coming. So there's kind of a wipeout now of like the like old stuff we knew, like Reggie and stuff like that, and like even Zaza's kind of going away. And now it's getting more in genetics. So weed is there's this huge gap in price right now. Like a lot of people, I mean, the people I sell to, they don't want to pay $90 an eighth, right? Like I don't care how great it is. I don't. I'm gonna smoke it in the same amount of time, probably. So that's been interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's fun. I just play with like GIFs and stuff like that, and make it fun and make it comedic, and see where it goes from there.
No, it looks really delicious. So I hope it's going well for you, and I hope all of your comedy shows are getting up and off the ground soon. New year,
Definitely.
new us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yes. Any final words?
Thank you for having me. Any final words?
Yeah, anything you want to leave the audience with before we boogie out of here?
If you're gonna do an edible, start with half.
Yeah,
Well
that's
said.
right.
Start with a fourth.
It's been Sessions with Mary Jane with Jordan Kleine.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening, and be sure to continue looking at all the Late Night Hump stuff. Follow us on social media at Late Night Hump, LateNightHump.com. We got all of our shows. We got a bunch of projects and films and other podcasts coming up, so just keep an eye out for all those. You can catch The Morning Shower daily in the morning. Get your news from Late Night Hump, The Morning Shower, and yeah, any last words? We're good.